there was just a flyby of some military jets. The King's birthday celebration was today. Yeah, as I walk through, every turn leads to some other incredible specimen. It's unreal. So it got really loud in here, but I'm kind of emotional about what I'm experiencing. Last week I was in the Vatican Museum and I saw the Sistine Chapel and the School of Philosophy and got emotional. And here now we're in London in the Natural History Museum, and I'm absolutely blown away. This is like the biggest, most beautiful collections of minerals I've ever seen, probably in the world. Anyway, hopefully you can hear this. I'll show you a little bit more.
I'm trying not to make this a slideshow, but with the acoustics and so many people moving around the museum, it was hard to get good video, so I grabbed a lot of pictures. So instead I'm going to have a voiceover here and just throw in some highlight pictures. It's worth noting that the layout of the whole museum adds to the sense of wonder that you get there. So for example, this room, when you first walk in, there's a 200 kilogram meteorite on the floor, and there's a gold nugget in one case and raw diamond, and you progressively go through and you get to the back and there's this vault, and that's where all the massive gold nuggets and these world-class gems are, and meteorites from Mars and everything. So it's like this crescendo of experience. One of the things to realize about this collection is that it's not just a big spender. If you went out with $100 million today and said, I wanted the biggest diamond, for example, you'd end up with a pretty big diamond. But if you said, I wanted a diamond of every single color and they're all going to be exactly perfectly matched, that's going to take you 40 years to collect. If you are an institution like this is a 150-year, 200-year collection where as things come out of the ground, they are a big player pulling out the biggest gold nuggets, the biggest topaz, the biggest emerald formation. It is impressive how long and sustained and how many gifts they've been given, and I think they worked pretty closely with the royalty because of the money and just the clout of being able to get things into the collection. So when you see these things, it's not just that it's the biggest, that it's like 100 years of being on top of their game to get these things into this collection. I really enjoyed that they included the localities of all these minerals and the provenance and any history that went along with it, in addition to the scientific information of the composition. It really drove home the fact that not only are these scientific specimens, but they're also a collection. They came from people, they came from mines. The gold nugget from El Dorado, California, I was familiar with that. That big chunk of rhodochrosite in the Sweet Home mine in Colorado, I was familiar with that. But then it starts to tell a story about how normally you don't see platinum crystals, for example, bigger than a couple grains of sand. This one was inches across. Gold crystals I know are rare, but I didn't know that the biggest gold crystals came out of a particular place in England, for example. So it was very enjoyable seeing how they connected all these different mines and peoples from all over the world and gifts and the big players and where these things came from in every time period that they were collecting. It tells a story, a history of how humans have been taking things out of the ground for, going back forever, but in particular, the valuable minerals for the last few hundred years. Cool stuff to see, all the way down to little details. After a while, I kind of found myself playing a little game of like, oh, I have a piece of that. I recognize that. I have little pieces of wolfenite and fire opal and things. And so it really connected me to a lot of my collecting and the information I've been trying to learn. And there's so much of it. But alas, we were tired. We had to go eat. We couldn't spend all day there. But it was such an amazing experience. I wish I could go back again and just study day after day, but on to other adventures.